Hello, I'm Josie. I'm the redheaded libertarian. With me today is James Fishback, running for governor of Florida. Welcome, James.
Thank you very much, Josie.
Great. I'm so glad that you're able to come here. You're going to every county. Right now you're in my county. We won't dox what county that is, but he is in my county, so this is the truth for sure. All right, and tonight you had a great event.
A great event.
Great event. Awesome. All right. Well, let's get to know you a little bit. So you had a stutter that you overcame, right?
I did.
You did, yeah, and you did that with debate?
Debate pretty much every weekend of high school for 4 years straight will cure you of a stutter.
Excellent. That's good to know. I had a little bit of a stammer, but I fought that with public speaking. So,
yeah, it helps.
Yeah. So I thought that was really cool that's relatable between you and I. It definitely does help, especially with what we're doing and preaching liberty to the masses. So you're also, you've built a finance career. Now you're running for governor and you're a fourth generation Floridian. Which of these chapters helped you sort of decide, yes, I do want to run for governor?
Probably my Incubate Debate chapter was starting this statewide nonprofit free high school debate league. I was a high school debate kid for 4 years, national champion. Mm-hmm. When I got out, a few years later, high school debate became totally woke. Mm-hmm. It was their reaction to Trump. It was just to go as far left as possible, to where kids were being kicked out and disqualified from debate tournaments for saying anything remotely conservative. And so I started Incubate Debate in 2019 to counter that. We now have 10,000 active students in the program in over 34 Florida counties, including the one that we're in now, but we won't dox you. And it's just been unbelievable to see kids from all walks of life, all political persuasions debate. And through Incubate Debate, I got to see almost every corner of the state. Go to workshops, host events at schools, have summer camps, big debate tournaments. We brought Vivek Ramaswamy, we brought Bill de Blasio, we brought Neil Gorsuch, Doug Emhoff, Kamala Harris's husband, people from all political backgrounds to come talk to our students and encourage them to debate. And so that's, I would say, the most important formative experience in this. But of course, my background in business is what gives me the skill set to navigate the state of Florida. Last year alone, my business deployed $42 million of capital into companies all over the country that have one thing in common. They don't hire on DEI, they hire on merit. That's how it should be in the private sector, and that's how we'll restore it in the public sector. No government program, no scholarship, certainly no subsidy should ever be doled out on the basis of anything other than whether you're qualified or not. And subsidies in particular should be utterly gutted because they're a violation of this pact that we have with taxpayers.
Absolutely. I absolutely agree with that. I believe it was Jordan Peterson who explained it very eloquently that if you're hiring an engineer, engineers are statistically 99% male, but suddenly you have to hire 50% female and 50% male. So you're pulling half of your employees from 1%. And so you're not going to get the best. And that's what it comes down to. And we are a meritorious society and we need to be the best and we have to continue being the best, and the best isn't equitable. It's just the way that it is. So I appreciate that. So Florida is changing fast, from costs to culture. There's a lot of people coming here from all walks of life. It's the free state of Florida. I mean, I came during the pandemic. I've lived in Massachusetts my whole life. So I came down here. But was there a personal observation that you noticed about the changing culture that was like, maybe, we're not going in the right direction?
I think it's mainly been the sprawl, the development, and the fact that our Florida culture is being priced out and pushed out by new people. And it's not that I don't want to welcome people from New York or California or Massachusetts. It's that I want to take care of the people who have made Florida, made Florida what it is. And you do that by creating disincentives and incentives. Incentivize Florida residents who have built their whole lives here to stay here and not get priced out because of insurance or property tax. And create the right incentive system for those who are coming here. If you're coming here to start a great business, to do something extraordinary, to contribute, we will always welcome you with open arms. But if you want to treat our neighborhoods like a second or third vacation spot, buy a home that's going to largely sit vacant most part of the years, I think we should have incentives in place, because those are homes, those are opportunities that should be reserved for those who want to make Florida their full-time home.
Yes, I agree with that. And I did come to Florida to create a better life for everybody, for my children. And coming from Massachusetts to Florida, I left during the pandemic and there was masking and 6 feet of separation and everybody was afraid of everyone. Everybody's vaccinated, and they were coming to a point where they wanted to force my little children to be vaccinated if they wanted to participate in the public square, if they wanted to not mask at school, if they wanted to go to a grocery store with an open air eatery, they were going to force vaccines on my children. And I was like, I can't live like that. You know, packed up my family, moved to Florida, and it didn't exist here. It was normal. It was like 2019. It was extraordinary, and nobody got sick. It was extraordinary to me, the difference in state to state. It feels like as we move forward, our states are becoming more balkanized, where they're almost like tiny little different countries. You know, people don't really want to move to Florida anymore because of Disney World and because of beaches and because it's sunny. They want to move because their governor is not a tyrant. What will you add to Governor DeSantis's legacy and his record? And what would you change from that?
It's a great question. I think he's been the greatest governor in Florida history, and I say that as a lifelong Floridian, a fourth-generation Floridian. The first thing we have to do is we have to preserve his legacy. There are Democrats and even some rhinos who are chomping at the bit to unwind what the governor has given us. What we have to do is we have to fully codify medical freedom into law. I'll give you just one example. A business, a physician, a gym is not allowed to turn someone away because of the color of their skin or because of their gender. Right now, they can turn someone away because of their vaccine status. And what I want to codify into law in Florida is be the first state in the entire union to say that you cannot discriminate against someone because of their vaccination status. And so we can never truly be free of the vaccine mandates if private businesses can say, we will not see your child. We will not treat you. You're not allowed to come to our gym. You're not allowed to come to our school, whether it's public or private. We should never allow discrimination, and discriminating on the basis of medical decisions, of vaccination status, is wicked, and we have to stop it.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely, for sure. That's like chilling to me just because of my life and my choices in moving here. Just that somebody would.
And we're still struggling with it. I mean, our own attorney general here in Florida had to write a letter to a private Catholic school that, and I say this as a Catholic, that was making up a political agenda that's found nowhere in the Bible to force kids to take vaccines to go to the school. Now, mind you, this is a school that takes taxpayer money from the Step Up program, our school choice program. Doesn't matter whether you take money from anybody. That makes it egregious, but no business should ever be able to discriminate against someone on the basis of whether or not they took some experimental vaccine. And that is, we are going to lead the charge on that. Justice Brandeis wrote in the 1920s that it is a beautiful thing that in federalism, each state can pursue its own experiments like a laboratory. California has experiments. They have failed. New York and Illinois have pursued experiments. They have failed. The experiment in liberty will keep burning strong under my leadership as it has under Governor DeSantis.
Great. Wonderful. Thank you. Also a Catholic. So I do appreciate that. And, you know, you don't like seeing Catholic usurpation. So.
Right.
Yes. All right. You're a young outsider and you're drawing intense energy from people that are young.
We saw it here tonight.
Exactly.
I mean, we're in a small county. We are not in a top 20 county in Florida. And we saw an incredible crowd here from all walks of life, but a lot of young people, and a lot of the guests remarked at how they had never seen the kind of turnout and youth turnout that we saw here tonight. We saw it in Stewart, in Martin County the other night. At 11 o'clock at night, we had 230 people packed into a diner.
That's not a huge county.
No, either. And then in the big counties like Palm Beach and Broward, we've drawn crowds close to 1,000. And so now it is time for everyone who is a Florida Republican to have a plan to vote on August 18th, to show up with at least 3 people at the polls so we can win this thing. It's not even close. Every poll has us nearly tied for first. We're in second. I respect my other opponents, but a vote for anyone else other than us is a vote for the other guy, and the visions could not be more different.
Now tell me a little bit about that. What draws you apart from Byron Donalds and Jay Collins?
Well, a lot. Byron Donalds and Jay Collins are cut of the same cloth. They're institutional political candidates. They've been in office for years now, and very simply, if you've been in office for years and now that it's time for an election to come around and you're going to promise all of these things, I suppose it begs the question, why haven't you done this stuff already? Yeah, you're going to eliminate, but why didn't you do it? You were going to lower insurance. Why haven't you done it? Jay Collins at the state level is a state senator, and Byron Donalds as a U.S. congressman. They both had years, collectively 16 years, to prove that they have the ability to deliver for Floridians. They haven't. We need a political outsider. We need a businessman. We need someone who's going to call it like it is, not worry about what the Democrats or even the Rhino Republicans say. And I am that person who has proven at every step of this election that I'm willing to show up and speak the truth no matter what.
And I've actually seen your energy compared, or the energy of your base compared to the energy of Donald Trump's base. Kind of an outsider that came out of nowhere, a business guy, and everyone's like, yes, this is what we need to fix the problem. How do you feel about that comparison?
I'm honored by it. I think that we need the energy of 2016 Donald Trump. That's not to comment on 2026 Donald Trump. There's obviously been some divergences in foreign policy, some that I agree with, some that I disagree with. But I do think we need an outsider right now. Governor DeSantis was the outsider when he ran for governor in 2018. He was not the establishment favorite. He was actually down by more at this point, 2 weeks out from the election, than we are today. And we are very, very close to winning. And we're going to do that by winning over some of the older voters that we saw here, but also turning out an entire generation of young voters who want to see this country preserved for them.
Wonderful. And I want to be respectful of your time. So one last question. What is a white pill that you can give the voters about what you will do, who you are, the future that they have?
One very specific white pill is that a super PAC spent $10 million attacking us during the World Cup 2 weeks ago in attack ads. And it is proof that we are right over the target and we are on the verge of a historic victory, the shockwaves of which will not just be felt in all of Florida's 67 counties, but in every crevice of the United States, because liberty is appreciated all over this union, and that is what I'm fighting for.
Thank you so much. So nice to meet you.
Josie.
Best of luck.
I appreciate it.